So let's say I had a 90-day goal to double my business. That's a big goal, right? But if you did it, well, what if it took you 120 days? If you didn't have that deadline, that 90 days, you probably would have never done it in 120. So don't beat yourself up that it took you 120 days to do it, because if you hadn't set the goal to begin with, you probably wouldn't have done that in 120 days. All right, let's jump right in and talk about a subject that can really impact the coming months, years, and really what's going to happen in your journey through this thing called life. In order to do that subject, we need to discuss the fact that in a lot of people's vocabulary, this subject is actually a 4-letter word, meaning it's a curse word. It's something that you don't like to discuss. It's demotivating rather than what it really should be, which is motivating. And that subject is a goal. The problem with goals for many people is they don't really understand what it is, why it should work, and then how to implement it. Because unless someone walked you along side by side with you, where would you learn this? Because goals are not a wish list. A lot of people get that mixed up. They think of a New Year's resolution as a kind of a wish list. This is what I want to happen this year. But they don't set out a real course of action and a plan and identify. The more important thing is why would we want to accomplish those things? So the word goal is really it's hard to thrive. It's hard to produce at a high level. It's hard to exceed one's limited expectations without having a real goal. So the first thing a goal is determining what do you want? All right, that may sound easy, but it's really a good goal is probably something that I can't ask you right here in this message and you tell me real quick, yeah, that's my goal. No, a lot of times a goal needs to be self-reflected on for a period of time, processing through. So, you know, exactly what is it? It's not just I want to grow my business, or it's not just I want a new car or a new house. It's okay, well, how would I like to grow my business? Do I want to grow it excessively? Do I want to grow it in stages? What's the ultimate outcome? And if it's a car or a house, well, what particular kind of car? What kind of particular house? And why? That's the biggest thing about a goal is, first of all, determining what you really, really want. Okay, hone it in. Don't try to set a goal, a list of 25 things. Hone it in, put it in categories, and get it down to very specific details of what are we trying to accomplish and what do we want? What's our expectation? Then we want to break down of why. All right, so why is it? Because your why is probably one of the most important factors of a goal, and it's also probably one of the reasons why people don't like setting goals, because they just write down a list, and first time they come across the resistance that life is going to provide or the distractions life's going to provide, nothing carries it through. It's not important enough because they really haven't determined, well, why? Why do I want that car? Why do I want that house? Why do I need those funds? Is it because I need to send my kids to college? All right, so if it's I need those funds but so I know my kids can go to college, well, that's a why. That's gonna give you a reason to get up and meet the challenge when that resistance comes. It's not gonna be as easy to quit on the goal. So first and foremost, let's determine what do we really, really want, okay? That should take some time, maybe as much as 30 days to 60 days of quiet time in the mornings, your reflecting time. Take time to pause and really think and list it out. What do I want? And then determining our why. Why are we going for this? Now, beyond that, we got our what we want, we got our why we want it. Two of the biggest keys. All right. Now it's just well, how do I go about setting goals. Let's say I want to increase my business fivefold. All right. Well, first and foremost, you want to set a goal. Let's cover that rule. You want to set a goal that's bigger than what you can figure out. All right. In other words, if you can see, okay, well, if I tweak this and I tweak that, I should be able to eke that out and meet that expectation. All right. So if it doesn't take innate, if it doesn't take inspiration, if it doesn't take additional effort or additional insight, the goal might not be big enough. You don't want to write a goal that's so small that in your mind you can figure out, well, how could I reach it? You want to set large goals, outrageous goals, things that I don't know how I would do that. Maybe I want to be a pilot. Maybe I want to get, I want to own a particular kind of boat, or maybe I want to be able to donate to my church so much. It's got to be a figure. It's got to be something that I don't understand how I could do that, but it's what I want, and this is my why I want it. So once we determine our what and our why, then we want to figure out a timeline and set it large enough that it's going to take time to grow. All right, so let's, again, the 5 times. Let's say we're going to grow our revenue 5 times. I don't understand how I could do that. I don't even know how I could double my business, much less 5 times. All right, well, we want to set a timeline. That's the next big step about setting a goal. All right, you need a timeline. And if it's an audacious big goal, say, well, it's 3 years. Well, 3 years is too far out for every one of us to strive for each and every day. Get up. What's my drive? Well, in 3 years, I want to be here. Now, it's good to have that far goal, but we need to break it down into, okay, well, what do I want to accomplish within 1 year? Then break it down. What do I need to accomplish within 6 months, 3 months, or 90 days, 1 month? What do I need to do today? And you break that goal down into bite-sized chunks into, let's say I wanted that, maybe I wanted to own a plane, right? Well, if you want to own a plane one day so you can fly around and check on all your different businesses, well, maybe early on, maybe we should start taking pilot's lessons. So what can you do today? That's the key. What is that bite-sized chunk that I can take on today that can give me a goal to shoot for within 30 days? Within 30 days, I'm going to have this executed. Within 30 days, I'm going to have this staff hired, or within 30 days, I'm going to take this particular kind of training. Within 90 days, we will have executed this portion of the plan, and then we will be seeing this amount of growth in 90 days, 6 months, 1 year. So the big key is, what do we want? Why do we want it? Make sure it's big enough that INNATE has to get involved, and then we want to break that goal down into bite-sized chunks in a timeline. Do not beat yourself up if you don't reach that exact goal in that exact amount of time. All right, so let's say I had a 90-day goal to double my business. That's a big goal, right? But if you did it, well, what if it took you 120 days? If you didn't have that deadline, that 90 days, you probably would have never done it in 120. So don't beat yourself up that it took you 120 days to do it, because if you hadn't set the goal to begin with, you probably wouldn't have done that in 120 days. In the same token is, don't beat yourself up that if at 90 days or 120 days, you only grew 80% higher. All right? Shoot for the moon, land on a star. Either way, you're on higher ground. It's one of my all-time favorite lessons. The key is to shoot for higher than you can imagine. And then incrementally, we're going to reach our goals. But if we don't have those deadlines and we don't have those stepping stones, the goal is going to become frustrating, like goals are for so many people. Last but not least, visit your goals daily. Cannot stress this enough. All right, so we've got our what, we've got our why, we've set big goals. large expectations, because high expectations equal high results. Medium expectations equal low results. Low expectations equal no results. So if we go into a period of time and we don't set goals and we don't have higher than average expectations, if we're constantly waiting for our ship to come in, you're probably never going to reach those high results. But last but not least, I say, you must have your goals in front of you and read those goals out loud, right? It's the power of the tongue. You want to affirm your goals. You want to affirm what's important to you. And I've talked about material things and financial goals. You can have weight loss goals. You can have fitness goals. You can have relationship goals. We're setting goals for life, and you want to be able to affirm those goals out loud 3 times a day. The 2 easiest ones are to, as soon as your eyes open, have those goals close by, read those goals out loud right before you go to bed when that subconscious is most alert. The subconscious is most alert in the few minutes before you go to sleep and the few minutes after you wake up. If you cover those 2 times, then you've only got to review your goals at lunchtime. Folks, that's the key to this. A goal is not a curse word. A goal is constructive and productive. And life without a goal is going to be very, very mediocre and average. So just because you don't like it, maybe this is giving you some insight and some instruction on what goals are, how to operate. And if you need to know more information, that's what we are here for. We can mentor you through those stages. So set high expectations at this time of year, and you'll get a higher result. But make sure it's specifically what you want. You've got your why, you've got your the steps to take, timelines, right on down through, and then make sure you affirm it each and every day. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll talk to you next time. God bless.